Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Charan. In this video I will show you how to create a simple online exam project in MVC using web API. And here we got the final output, the edit text. After that we have a question and the question name with 4 options, and below we got a button control submit. Let's select the options. What is the capital of India? I'm selecting Hyderabad, which is not the capital of India. What is the capital of USA? Washington. I'm selecting Fusion. The Australia is Queensland. So when I click submit, here we got the selected options from the user, and notice we got the correct answers here. We have selected the capital of India, which is Hyderabad, but the correct answer is Delhi. And also notice the radio button controls are disabled. That's it. We have consumed the web API. This is a web API. We consumed in MVC to create the project online exam. That's it. If you are a first time visitor to my channel, please subscribe to get the latest updates. Before creating a project in web API, first we'll check the table and the column names. Just for the time saving, I have already created a table with some data. The table name is the online exam, which contains question ID, question, option 1, option 2, option 3 and option 4, and the last one is the correct answer. And notice in these option columns, option 1, 2, 3 and 4 contains some city names, so user can select one of these options. But in the last one is the correct answer. At the end of the tutorial, when the user submit the results, the selected option from the user will compare with the correct answer. If both are matched, the answer will be right. Otherwise, the answer will be wrong. So now let's create a project in web API. For this video tutorial, I'm creating a new web API project. Go to File, New Project. And from the web templates, I'm selecting ASP.NET Web Application, and the .NET Framework I'm using 4.6.1. The application name is Web API Online Exam MVC. Is the project name. Click OK. And from the ASP.NET templates, I'm selecting Web API. Click OK. And the project is created successfully. Let's close this default window. Now open Solution Explorer. Now in this project I am adding ADO.NET Entity Model. Right click the project name, add ADO.NET Entity Data Model, select that one. The model name is Online Exam. Click OK. And from the model contents, I'm selecting the first option, EF Designer from database. Click Next. Let's create a new connection of SQL Server. New connection. I'm adding SQL Server name. After adding SQL Server name, now I'm selecting the database name. The table I have created in this new DB database, so I'm selecting the database new DB. Test connection is succeeded. OK. OK. And here we got our connection string. The connection string entity name is a new DB entities, and I'm saving this connection string in the web.config file. Click Next. And from the database objects, I'm expanding the tables folder as well as DBO. Our table name is the online exam. I'm selecting that one. Click Finish. And here the online exam entity model is added to our project. After that, open Solution Explorer. I'm minimizing the references folder. Let's add a class in this models folder. Right click the models, add class. The class name I'm giving online exam class. Add. And here we got our class. Now in this class I'm adding the properties, public properties, public int. In our table we have 7 columns, 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7 columns. The first column is a question ID. Let's add that property, public int question ID is a get and set. After that, public string, the second one is a question, get set. The third property, public string, the option 1, get set. Let's copy this one. We have 4 options, 1 2 3 and 4. Let's add those ones, 1 2 3 and 4 options. And the last one, public string correct answer ANS get and set. Now after adding the properties, now open Solution Explorer. Now in this controllers folder I'm adding web API controller. Right click the controllers, add. I'm selecting the controller and I'm selecting the web API to controller empty, add. The controller name is exam controller, add. And here we got our API controller, which is the exam. Now first, in this API controller I'm importing the model class name using the model class name web API, the project name dot models folder. After that, it's a semicolon. Now after that, I'm adding public HTTP action result get online exam. Online exam is a function name. Now make sure this is the HTTP get method. After that, now in this method I'm adding the connection string entity name, which is a new DB entities, and D is equals to new DB entities. iList class. In this iList, the T type, the type of elements I'm adding, the class name, which is the online exam class. Create an object, OE is the object, is equals to nd dot online exams dot include. It's an include method. Now in this include method, between double quotes I'm adding my table name, which is the online exam dot select. I'm adding the lambda expression x new online exam class name. Now let's call the properties here. First one is a question ID is equals to x dot question ID. Second one is a question, just comma. The second one is a question is equals to x dot question comma option 1 is equals to x dot option 1 comma option 2 is equals to x dot option 2 option 3 is equals to x dot option 3 option 4 is equals to x dot option 4 comma, and the last property is the correct answer is equals to x dot correct answer dot toList method. And this toList, the type of the element we are getting from this online exam class. So this one I'm adding online exam class semicolon return OK method. In this OK method I'm adding this object OE semicolon. That's it. We have written the code in this API controller to fetch the records from this online exam table. Now before consume this web API into MVC, first we require this web API URL. For that, Google Chrome, let's browse this web API controller. And here we got the default output of the project, which is a home page. Now we require the web API. After the host name, the local host /API / our web API controller name is exam. This is a web API controller name. This is the API controller. Paste, enter. And here we got the results of the API in the XML file format, the options, question ID, question, and the correct answer. Now let's consume this web API into MVC. So switch back to the project, stop debugging, open Solution Explorer. Now in the same controllers folder, I am adding MVC controller. Right click the controllers, add controller. Now this time I am selecting MVC file controller empty, add. The controller name is exam online project is the controller name, add. And here we got our controller exam online project. Now in this MVC controller, first I'm adding the namespace using web API, the project name .models folder, semicolon. After that, the next namespace, I want to consume the web API using HTTP client class. So we require using system.net.http. After adding these two namespaces, now in this action result index IEnumerable. Now in this IEnumerable, the T type, the object, I'm adding the class name online exam class. Create a object OEC is equals to now, semicolon. Now after that, I'm implementing HTTP client. HC is equals to new HTTP client HC dot, the base address is equals to new URI method. This URI method takes a string parameter. Now between these double quotes, I'm adding our web URL, web API control URI. Let's add that one, semicolon. After we got the base address, now let's consume variable consume web API. API is a variable name. HC dot get async method takes a string parameter, so between double quotes we are consuming this API name exam, semicolon. Consume API dot wait method. After consume, we read the data. Variable read data is equals to consume API dot result property. If read data dot is success status code. If the data is read successfully, variable display data is equals to read data dot content dot read as async ilist. In this ilist, the T type I'm adding here, the type of elements in the list I'm getting from this online exam class. So add that one, online exam class, semicolon. Display data dot wait method. After that, I'm adding this OEC. OEC is equals to display dot result property, and the return view is OEC. This IEnumerable object. That's it. We have consumed the web API into this MVC controller. Now we require the last one is the index view page. Now before adding the index view page to this project, we must build the application first. Build solution. And the project is built successfully. Let's close this output message box. Now highlight the index, right click the mouse, add view. The view name is index, the template empty without model. I am not selecting any model template. Click add. And here we got the index view page, the basic index view page without any model template. Now in this index view page, first I'm adding at model, it's a small model, IEnumerable. In this IEnumerable, the out T type is the project name web API dot models folder dot the class name online exam class. So after adding IEnumerable to this index view page, next let's add the header, creating simple online exam project H3 web API MVC tutorials. Let's make this simple. After that I'm adding horizontal line. So after adding the headers, now we'll add the jQuery reference link to this index view page. Open Solution Explorer and notice here the scripts folder, expand that one. In the scripts folder there is a file called jQuery 1.02.min.js file. Just drag and drop into our index view page. Now after the horizontal line, at for each loop variable item in model. Now in this for each loop I am adding the table to display the data. Table class is equals to table tr td. The first td I want to display the question number at html.display for. And this display for, and the display for I am adding model item dot the question ID. Copy this one. And the second one is a question name dot question. The next tr. Next I want to display the options. For that I want to using the radio button controls input. It's a td. In this td I am adding input type is equals to radio and id is equals to the id. I am adding the option 1. Name is equals to at item dot the question id. Class name, the class name I am adding the radio button, radio B, and the value is equals to the radio button value at item dot option 1. Item dot the display the label option 1. Let's copy this one, break. Now copy this one, paste. The 4 options we have. The ID I'm changing to option 2, and the name I'm not changing. The value is option 2, and this is option 2. This one is option 3, option 3, option 3, and the last one 4, 4, and option 4. Now after adding the options, now I'm adding the correct answer. For that I'm adding the label control. Label id is equals to lab1, name is equals to the name. I'm adding the same one, the name and class. So just copy this one and paste here. Correct answer at item dot correct answer. Now in this label, when the page loads, I want to hide this label until the user clicks the button control. I want to show style is equals to display none semicolon. So when page loads, this label control will be hide. Button, the type is equals to button, and ID of the button is but1, and I'm adding the label of for the button is submit. That's it. We have added the designing here. We don't require this TD here. It's only one TD. That's it. Up to now we have just finished the designing part. Now before adding the online exam functionality using jQuery, first we'll check the basic output, how it looks the designing part on the browser. So before run this project, the most important, we have to change the controller name. Open Solution Explorer, go to top. In the project there is the app underscore start folder, expand that one. Notice there is a route config.cs file, open that one, and here the controller name is a home, which is a default one. I'm deleting that one, and our project name is MVC controller name is a exam online project. Just copy this one and add in the controller, and the action view page is the index only, which is this one. Now let's check the output, basic output, how it looks at designing part. Google Chrome. And here we got the output of that code. Notice the header tags. After that we got the question number and the question with 4 options: Hyderabad, Delhi, Mumbai. After that we got a button control. Now my aim is when a user selects the options, so for example, what is the capital of USA, which is a Washington, and I click submit, I want to display the results in the bottom, and the original answer also I want to display answers below these radio button controls, and I want to disable this radio button controls. So let's write the coding part in jQuery. Switch to the coding part, stop debugging. So after the button control, first I'm adding the horizontal line. After the horizontal line, I'm adding a simple label control. Label, ID of the label is lab result. I'm closing the label tag, and this label control to display the selector options from the user. The next, let's create the script tag. The script first, I'm adding the function display results, and this display results, I want to display results in this label control. So document document.get element by id between double quotes. This get element by id takes a string parameter. Between double quotes, I'm adding the lab result dot inner HTML property is equals to empty. Variable e is equals to document.get element by tag name. The tag name takes a parameter, string parameter. Between single quotes, I'm adding the tag name of the radio button is the input. Let's add that one, input semicolon. Now we have multiple options. Now we have multiple radio button options. So for that I'm using the for loop option. For loop I is equals to 0, I is less than variable e dot the length semicolon I plus plus if e array I dot the type of the element is a radio, because we are selecting the radio button, so I'm adding the type radio element. If ei dot the radio button is checked, the selected radio button values I want to display in this label result, the label id document dot get element by id between double quotes. I'm adding the lab result, this id dot inner html plus is equals to between double quotes the first the question plus dot the name plus between double quotes bracket I'm adding plus your selected answer is plus plus e array I dot the value, the selected value I want to display, and I'm adding break semicolon. Here the break is the next answer will be displayed in the new line. That's it, we have added the functionality to display the results. Now add this function name in the button click on click event semicolon. After adding the function name in the on click, now the next condition is once the user clicks the button control, I want to enable visible this label control. So in the same script dollar document dot ready function semicolon dollar between double quotes I'm adding the element button ID. So copy this button ID. So when we are adding IDs, we need to prefix with hash but ID dot click function semicolon. So once the button click, I want to show this label control dollar between double quotes. I'm adding the element of this label 1 and I'm adding the class. This time I'm adding class here. So when we are adding the class names, we need to prefix with the dot symbol dot show method, and I want to disable this radio button controls. So dollar between double quotes I'm adding the class name of this radio button controls, which is the radio B. Again dot radio B. It's not here. Here dot radio B dot attribute method between double quotes I'm adding disabled comma true. The boolean type true I'm adding. That's it, we have done the complete coding part. Let's add the style here also. The style color colon for screen semicolon. That's it, we have done the complete coding part. Now it's time to check the results on the browser, Google Chrome. And here we got the final output, the edit text. After that we have a question and the question name with 4 options, and below we got a button control submit. And let's select the options. What is the capital of India? I'm selecting Hyderabad, which is not the capital of India. What is the capital of USA? Washington. I'm selecting Fusion. The Australia is Queensland. So when I click submit, here we got the selected options from the user, and notice we got the correct answers here. We have selected the capital of India, which is Hyderabad, but the correct answer is Delhi. And also notice the radio button controls are disabled. That's it. We have consumed the web API. This is a web API. We consumed in MVC to create the project online exam. That's it.